¿Es posible proteger el voto sin ponerle barreras al votante? En pleno debate nacional sobre la integridad electoral rumbo a las elecciones de 2026, Ohio sorprende al país. ¿Qué está haciendo este estado para asegurar elecciones confiables y accesibles para los hispanos? Soy Pachi Valencia y lo invito a Desde el Capitolio para descubrir por qué muchos lo ven como un modelo a seguir. En vísperas de las elecciones intermedias de 2026, donde se renovarán los 435 escaños de la Cámara de Representantes y los 33 escaños del Senado de Estados Unidos, la integridad electoral se vuelve el tema central del debate nacional. En medio de esto, Ohio se presenta como un modelo a seguir. ¿Cómo logra este estado facilitar el voto sin abrirle la puerta al fraude? Pues en la CPAC 2025, el secretario de Estado de Ohio, Frank LaRose, destacó los esfuerzos de su estado para fortalecer la integridad electoral sin afectar la participación de los votantes. Desde 2019, LaRose ocupa el cargo de secretario de Estado con una trayectoria que combina liderazgo militar y servicio público. LaRose fue un boina verde y reservista del Ejército de Estados Unidos y también ocupó un asiento en el Estado estatal antes de convertirse en secretario de Estado de Ohio. Según su página web, ha impulsado auditorías y mejoras en ciberseguridad para garantizar elecciones transparentes y confiables en Ohio. En esta entrevista con The Epoch Times en español, LaRose nos detalló las medidas que su administración ha implementado para evitar el fraude electoral y garantizar que solo los ciudadanos estadounidenses puedan votar. Además, LaRose destacó el papel clave de la comunidad hispana en Ohio y su contribución al Estado. Soy Pachi Valencia y desde el Capitolio los invito a ver esta conversación con el secretario de Estado de Ohio, Frank LaRose. Veamos. Hi everyone, we're here back at the CPAC 2025 and we're here with Secretary of State of Ohio, Frank LaRose. Thank you so much for joining us at Epoch Times Español.
Yeah, it's such an honor. Thank you.
Thank you. So Frank, can you tell us a little bit more about what your panel was about in election integrity?
So we were talking about election integrity. I was up there with Chairman Whatley, the RNC chairman, as well as Hogan Gidley, who's the former spokesperson in the White House and now works with the America First Policy Institute. And we were talking about how states like Ohio and others have worked to improve the integrity of our elections. And one of the things that I made sure to emphasize is that election integrity drives voter participation, right? The left in particular makes this claim that if you're making it hard to cheat, you must also be making it hard to vote. And that's not true. In Ohio, we've maintained that balance of making it genuinely easy to vote. And it is very convenient in Ohio. 4 weeks of early voting, absentee voting, and then, of course, election day voting. It's easy to vote in Ohio, but it's also hard to cheat. We remove dead voters on a monthly basis. When someone passes away, we get that list from the Department of Health, and then we remove them from the voter rolls. We make sure that only American citizens are registered to vote, which is, of course, common sense. And I emphasized up there on the panel that when I've been to these naturalization ceremonies where somebody takes the oath to become an American citizen, those new Americans would be among the first to tell you, don't give away the thing that I worked so hard to earn. Citizenship has value. And so new Americans would tell you, of course, only citizens should vote. I worked hard to earn that. People that haven't earned it should not be able to vote. So that's something else that we do. And in Ohio, we also check IDs to make sure you are who you say you are. We have bipartisan election officials, Democrats and Republicans, working together to run elections in our state. So we're proud of the fact that not only have we had record-breaking turnout, and we've had really high turnout elections in recent years in Ohio, but we've also made sure that it's an honest election at the same time. Antes de seguir con nuestra conversación, dele like a este video para que YouTube siga recomendando nuestro contenido a todos los hispanos. También lo invito a suscribirse a Desde el Capitolio para seguir informado de los acontecimientos más importantes desde Washington, D.C. y cómo impactan a la comunidad hispana. Ahora, el secretario de Estado de Ohio, Frank LaRose, también nos contó qué iniciativas en español se están llevando a cabo en el estado. Pero hacemos una pausa de 30 segundos y regresamos desde el Capitolio con este tema.
La pintura al óleo tradicional inspirada en lo divino genera compasión. Las obras de arte creadas en la verdad y la belleza iluminan el camino hacia la bondad. Redescubra el arte tradicional. Reviva la cultura clásica. Cordialmente invitamos a pintores al óleo de todo el mundo a participar en la 7ª competencia internacional de pintura al óleo de Entity, una celebración del realismo clásico. Visite oilpainting.entitytv.com.
And there's a big Hispanic community in Ohio. So how do you think it has improved the participation of Hispanics in this upcoming elections?
So the Hispanic community, any community, wants to know that their vote counts and that it's part of an honest election. So I think that people feel good knowing that not only is it easy, but it's also an honest process. And let's be honest, many people that have immigrated to the United States and come here legally and earned their citizenship may come from a country where there were concerns about the integrity of their elections, right? And so they want to know that the place that they've worked hard to come to, where they've earned their citizenship, they want to know that those problems that they left behind in their old country with rigged elections or cheating or whatever else, they want to know that that's not happening in their new home. And we make sure of that in Ohio.
And as a Secretary of State, what do you think are the issues that concern more Hispanics about, the state in general?
So a lot of the same things that new American communities have focused on for generations. And I speak from experience, coming from a family of Italian immigrants, right? My family came here just about 100 years ago, worked hard, built a business, and that's that American dream that still draws people to come to our country. And so not only as the Secretary of State am I in charge of elections, but I'm also in charge of new business formation. So when somebody incorporates, they get their articles of incorporation to start a new business. That happens here in Ohio, here at the Secretary of State's office in Ohio. So in that case, working with our immigrant community to make sure that we have multilingual services available, right? So that people can understand this in their native language, connecting with the immigrant communities to make sure that we help recruit poll workers, the election officials that actually run the voting location that have multilingual capabilities, and then help them be assigned to polling location where you have large non-native English-speaking populations. That's important as well. Even something like the voter registration form, we make that available in Spanish in Ohio. And that's something that it's required by law, but we work to make sure that that's kept up to date and that we promote that. We work with Spanish language media in Ohio, TV and radio and print, to make sure that we get the word out so that people know when the next election is, how easy it is to be a voter, and maybe even to sign up to be an election official themselves.
Antes de seguir, si aún no está suscrito al canal, hágalo ahora y active las notificaciones, así no se perderá ninguna actualización importante sobre estos temas. LaRose, secretario de Estado de Ohio, también nos contó cuáles son sus planes a futuro. Hacemos una pausa de 30 segundos y regresamos en Desde el Capitolio con este tema.
Enfóquese en la belleza, muestre la naturaleza, comparta la bondad, sienta la rectitud. 2025, la 5ª competencia internacional de fotografía de NTD. Capture los momentos más hermosos a través de su lente. Sus obras se exhibirán en galerías y en múltiples plataformas en línea. Admírelas y colecciónelas. Visite foto.ntdtv.com.
Right. And can we talk about your future plans of auditor of state, right?
So I announced a couple of weeks ago that I'm running for auditor of state. People might say, what is that? Well, the auditor of state in Ohio and in most states is really charged with two main responsibilities: catching crooks that are engaging in public corruption, right? We audit the books of every agency to find if somebody is misusing tax dollars, betraying that public trust by maybe putting some money in their own pocket. And so catching them and making sure that they go to jail for their crime is an important part of the auditor's office. The other thing that the auditor does, and this is something I'm genuinely excited about, is the opportunity to work to improve government efficiency. We're all familiar with what President Trump and Elon Musk are doing with Doge. Well, in Ohio, the auditor can kind of be an ODOGE, an Ohio Department of Government Efficiency, because the auditor has the power to do what's called a performance audit, to come in and look at any local government or state agency and find out, do they have more people on their staff than they need to have? Are they using outdated technology? Are they operating inefficiently and wastefully? And we can fix that. So this is why I'm excited to run for and hopefully to serve as the next auditor of state of Ohio.
And what do you think will be the most important message that you would like to say to the Hispanic community in Ohio?
That you're welcome in Ohio, that this is home, that you're wanted here. The Hispanic community, again, we're talking about people that have come legally and worked to earn their citizenship or are working to earn their citizenship. They have contributed so much to Ohio. The great cultural things like food and faith and family values and those kind of things, but also economically. If you look at a lot of great small businesses in Ohio are owned and operated by Hispanic families. And that's something that makes Ohio stronger. And so we want to see people stay in Ohio, grow their families in Ohio, build their businesses in Ohio, and vote in Ohio.
Okay. Secretary of State Frank LaRose, it's been such a pleasure to speak with you. Thank you so much. And I hope this is not the last time. Okay.
Gracias.
Thank you. Yeah. Gracias.
Gracias por acompañarnos en esta conversación con el secretario de Estado de Ohio, Frank LaRose. Ahora queremos escuchar su opinión. ¿Cree que las medidas de seguridad electoral en Ohio deberían implementarse en más estados? ¿Y qué tan importante es para usted la integridad del proceso electoral? Recuerde seguir a Desde el Capitolio en todas las redes sociales y recuerde también darle me gusta a este video y dejar sus opiniones debajo. Y por supuesto, compartir esta conversación con toda su familia y amigos, así mantenemos informada a nuestra comunidad hispana. Esto fue todo por hoy desde el Capitolio. Gracias por acompañarnos y no olvide dejarnos un like. Cuénteme también debajo a quiénes le gustaría que entrevistemos en adelante y sobre qué temas. Yo soy Pachi Valencia. Nos vemos el lunes con más información desde el Capitolio. Que tenga un excelente fin de semana.